pretty simple. I win.
Hello, guys, and welcome to Indiana Sports Connection. I am your residential anchor, Aaron. Thank you so much for joining me. And we have you checked your watch yet? Because it's past mid-January, so it's the time. It's the time to get pissed off about Indiana basketball. Is this just? We do this every winter. We do this every year. It's on repeat. It's like a 11 was this the 11th year? It's like about mid-January you're just like completely pissed off about Indiana basketball. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. We're going to talk about this Iowa game. I mean it just this it's not so much this game, it's how the last few of these games have gone. I have a clip of Darren DeVries, what he said after the game, which is very telling, and we're going to talk a little bit about what the difference is between fatigue and tiredness, maybe, but this is not good for this team, and they really don't have any answers. Thank you for joining me, Sco. Thank you for the comment here. Alexis and Conaway scored the bulk of our points. They totaled 29. Then Wilkerson added 9. That's about it. Yeah, that's about it right there. And Russell, appreciate the comment. The team is not that talented, and DeVries, they're too tired. Yeah, and he said that after the game. We're going to take a look at that clip, but it's just like watching this team is a little bit like being in the twilight zone at times. It's tough. It is tough. I mean, I have all these notes. I take all these notes during the game, but when you get to the last 10 minutes of the game and it's just like you can't stop them, they're just going to score on you at will and you can't buy a bucket. I mean, there's no real reason to same the last game against Michigan State, the last 12 minutes of that game just completely run off the court. I mean, what I wrote down initially in this is like how you come out. This is such a big game for Indiana. And Darren DeVries, if he wants to stay the coach of the Indiana Hoosiers, he's going to have to start to understand the way the Indiana basketball fans think. Because the way Indiana basketball fans think is I'm just going to tell you my point of view. I just look at all of the variables. I look at, okay, Indiana, we had a choice of coaches, Ben McCollum or Darren DeVries, right? We chose Darren DeVries. Both of these coaches then went to the transfer portal. Now, I would believe that Indiana basketball is going to have gets much better players in the transfer portal, that the amount of money we have, we're going to talk about what Darren DeVries is not doing when it maybe comes to that money and the transfer portal and what Cignetti is doing. But then you look at Iowa and it's like, I'm really thinking like, okay, Ben McCollum's a good coach. He was at, division, whatever division he was at. I don't watch that, but he won championships at another division. Then he came up to Drake. It makes you think Ben McCollum, he's not that great of a coach. I mean, not as good as Darren DeVries because he kind of like rode in on the coattails of Drake, right? This was a lot of Drake. Both two guys from Iowa, both from towns in Iowa, who both coached at Drake, who both came into the Big Ten in the same year, who both had completely, entirely new rosters. Indiana should win that game. Indiana, as a program, should get the better coach and should have more money to spend on players that when we have a complete overhaul in a way like this, we win that game, especially when the game's at home. If the game's at Iowa, that's totally different. But you're coming off big losses where you blew a 16-point lead to Nebraska, and then you came out and played okay against Michigan State for a little while, then got run off the court in the last 10 minutes of that game. You're coming home to this game, Darren DeVries, as the coach of Indiana Hoosiers basketball team, and this has to be like a must-win game. I mean, guys should be playing like they're being shot out of a cannon. What's not helping him is we have a football team now that plays that way, and we know it's perfectly possible. What type of timetable does it really take for somebody to be on the hot seat? I'm going to tell you, like, for me, it's like It depends how quickly this goes downhill, because if you see this team playing this way over and over and over again through these next like 2 or 3 weeks, he definitely has time to turn it around. I'm not saying he's going to have time to turn it around, but it's like, this is not good. It's just not good. Lamar Wilkerson, you get the ball stolen away from you. You dog it down the court. I mean, Connor Enright on that play is behind you and catches up to the guy. I mean, so many bad turnovers in this game. Tate Connerway got to the rim easily at different times in this game. And he is clearly our only guy who can really like just go out there and just drive around guys. Or, I mean, he just kind of figured at a certain point, he was just driving around that one guy over and over and over again, and they weren't going to stop him. So, but the thing is, Indiana does not have guys. They just don't have guys. What I would like to see a change, set Reed Bailey and Sam Alexis down. Trent Sicily could not do any worse. If you want to play small, then play small and take Reed Bailey and Sam Alexis out of the game. Like they're not there. I don't know. That's just what I would do to send a message to those guys. Darren DeVries said it was fatigue after the game. I'm going to put that up here first because I mean that also, I don't want to like jump this guy's down his bones already. He's only been here at Indiana for what, like not even 15 games, but man, you got to show a little bit more fire. You got to show more personality, and you got to show more that, okay, when you came in here and you said, like, he didn't say anything about championships. He didn't say anything about anything. He said that you see a team out there that's going to play hard for 40 minutes. We're seeing a team that plays hard for 30 minutes, and that 10 minutes of them not playing hard, that's your ass, man. I mean, that's your ass. You're the coach. Here's the coach after the game and what he had to say about that
I think
whole
over
deal.
the last 3 games, you guys have been outscored 36 points, I think, combined in the second half. What kind of is happening in these second halves that's leading to kind of these lopsided results?
Yeah, it's been pretty similar. We got to figure out a way to get a little more rest probably for those guys. As we get into that middle of the second half, there's 10, 12 minutes to go, and it's been consistent in the last 3 games that we look fatigued, and that's where some of that maybe sloppiness and the turnovers, and that's where you start to see some of that showing up. Something we talked about, a good amount, with the foul trouble and stuff. It's where do you get some of those, especially that go.
All right, there it was. I mean, he's saying they're fatigued. I mean, I see your comments here. Yeah, they're only playing 7 guys, but I mean, a lot of college teams play 7 or 8 guys. That's not that uncommon to only have 2 or 3 guys coming off the bench. I mean, not a lot of college teams run like an NBA team where they got like a full other 5 that actually come in. I mean, and these guys are seniors. I mean, it's not football. It's not, you're not getting your head bashed in. And I mean, fatigue is really different than what tiredness is. I mean, because tiredness is a normal feeling of, lack of sleep, physical activity, long days, just needing rest after having a lot of exertion. I mean, fatigue is a little different. I mean, fatigue is more like you have a chronic underlying illness or something that's really holding you back. It can be mental too. It can be a lot of things. Is it mental with this team? Are they just not able to get it done? I'm gonna tell you, I watched the game. I don't know if you guys watched the game when Iowa played Purdue the other night, and I watched that game, and I thought that this Iowa team would dismantle Indiana. I watched them; they played Purdue really tough, and you look at this, and it's like Iowa's not that great because if you just look at their record, they're 2-4 in the Big Ten, I think, right now, and they put their stats up. They've lost to a lot of good teams, just like Indiana. They've lost to a lot of good teams. A lot of the reason why this game is so frustrating, a lot of the metrics and everything like that have Iowa and Indiana like neck and neck, and so Ben McCollum, it makes you feel like Indiana picked the wrong coach. Although If Chris Beard was here right now, we wouldn't be having any of these problems right now. I can guarantee you that right now. I don't know how long. Is this another case where Indiana went for Mr. Nice Guy? Because we can't have a guy like Chris Beard here because of whatever. I don't know. I don't want to go down that road of thinking that way already but it is definitely there is a big worry as far as like apathy setting in. I can see of running this channel, the more they play like this, the more fans are telling me I don't even watch the games. I see the box scores or whatever. There are a lot of fans doing that. And when that type of apathy sets in, and after this football game on Monday, there's going to be like all eyes are going to be pointing at Indiana basketball. Or, I mean, if that kind of apathy sets in, we might become a football school. People might just turn this shit off and be like, look, this team, I mean, we could be a week from now, like they have no chance at the making the tournament at all. I mean, I know a lot of people are already telling me like this is not a tournament team. They're not going to make the tournament. They have no chance to make the tournament. And I mean, that has to be something that Darren DeVries has to get done this year. I could definitely see. I mean, I think with some of our last coaches, not Tom Crean, but Archie Miller and Mike Woodson, both of those guys, I think you knew right away whether or not they were going to work at Indiana or not. And we had to sit around for a bunch of years and watch those guys fumble all over themselves for no reason. Like, here's what I think. From what we were talking about earlier, Darren DeVries, he has got to be more sure of himself. When you go into the transfer portal, you should go to the athletic director. Look, we need this guy. We need Flory Badunga. We need a guy. We need this to win. And we need to find then the donor who's going to give us the money to get that guy. So that's who we're going to have on our team to win. Whether it was Flory Badunga or it was anybody else. But we needed that guy. And we needed somebody else on this team. And I think a lot of people knew it. Now, that's where you get into a sticky situation. Suddenly, your guy that's been at Drake and West Virginia a bunch, do you feel comfortable going into somebody, at Indiana University and asking for that money? Do you feel comfortable doing that? Or are you going to just be standoffish? I don't know Darren DeVries like what all of his, I've not really become that accustomed with his personality. The football team's been good. I've been trying to give him the benefit of the doubt. He's brought in a lot of good coaches. He's brought in a lot of good people. But I do think that it's like you have to push the envelope. Like that, you got to push the envelope. The squeaky wheel gets the oil. And Kurt Signetti, I think when he came here if he did not have the full backing of Scott Dolson and Pam Witten and that he knows that like he got his guy in the transfer portal. Hoover is his guy. Hoover has the most RPOs this last season of any quarterback. And Indiana runs more RPOs than anybody. So like our football team, they just went and got like their guys. And I don't know if it's going to be another football season, but the basketball team should, like, to me, it's way easier in basketball. Like, you're looking for 7 guys. You're really looking for like 2 guys, and you just got to go there and sell them and make the offer. And we saw Mike Woodson. I mean, Mike Woodson didn't do anything. And I know Ballo sucked bad, but he still was able to go out there and get the top big guy in the transfer portal. And there just should be that. I don't know. Like, to me, Darren DeVries has to be able to get this done. And I don't know. I mean, he's definitely going to be here next year. So, I'm just sitting here bitching to myself, obviously. And yeah. And I couldn't, my daughter was here, so I really couldn't be the animated that I wanted to. I just dropped her off, but I was just watching the whole game, and I was in and out of the room, and I was with her, and then really kind of zeroed in on. I mean, I watched the whole first half, really the whole game, but I had to save it for now to get. I mean, I don't want to completely blow a gasket yet. I wondered if I would, just because that game was really But yeah, what was that? Rough watch, bailed with a few minutes. I can definitely see it. Like, hope they pick it up. Yeah, and he's got to try different players. I mean, he really does. The Iowa fans started a "Let's Go Hawk" and we booed. Yet few Iowa fans were louder than the Hoosiers. I can definitely see that. The booing them at halftime was bad. Was bad. That started as like, and I know Darren DeVries. He came in here after Mike Woodson absolutely just crap this thing right down the crapper for all of the time that he was here. He did absolutely nothing, but I really expected more out of DeVries in this game. And that I really thought if they go out there, you beat Iowa by 10. I do think a lot of people go, all right, well, you kind of righted the ship there. Now it's bad. You had Nebraska on the ropes. You're up 16 at home. You can't lose those home games at Assembly Hall. You really can't. And especially if they're games where you had it in the bag or whatever, you gotta use that crap. He's got to get the crowd, I mean, more into it, and he's got to get more fans to the game. I don't know how you do that. People are checking out on Indiana basketball, which is crazy. You know what Kurt Signetti did? He made referendums against different people, and it was Michael. Good to see you. Yes, it was a brutal game. No depth. I don't know. It's I'm saying start Trent Sicily at center. What could go wrong? Well, that's what started a dynasty with the Golden State Warriors was when they started putting Green at center. And everyone said that's crazy, but it was unguardable because of what he was able to do. I don't know. The physicality is not there. The physicality, the coaching is not there also. I don't know what else you do to coach these guys in a better way. I really don't. You kind of got the guys that you got. The other thing, and I heard Mike Weemus say this, like the style of play. Yes, while I love the outside shooting, while I love the 3-point shooting and all of that, settling for outside shots and not having any guys that can drive the ball at all is killing this team. Like there was a play where Nick Dorn is like he drove in. I think he got an offensive foul called or whatever. But since this team is like they're set up to just shoot from the perimeter and not much else, they're going to take those shots from the perimeter. And I do think sometimes that us fans that we've watched this slogging style of play all this time, sometimes it just looks lazy because it just looks like somebody's just jacking up a shot, from way downtown just because they kind of like don't want to do anything else. I do think that happens at times on this team. There are times people just settle for a shot and then you got guys that aren't that good at driving and they're going to maybe use their off arm too much, get an offensive foul called. Well, that just furthermore tells a guy like Nick Dorn, don't drive the ball in, just fire up a three. That's what the coach wants. It's just, I don't know how, if you got everything on this team working, you can see how it could work, but you do need drivers. You need Connerway. You need Connerway and Wright and Lamar Wilkerson to really drive the ball whenever they can and to get the ball out. I saw a comment back up here that, that West Virginia team from last year, that's really what I was expecting. And I'm highly disappointed with Tucker DeVries. He played so much better early in the season last year for West Virginia than he is for Indiana right now. And he looks fat and out of shape. He needs to run some suicides or something, and he needs to take better shots out there. He has a terrible shot selection. He's fat, getting up and down the court, and that's just not going to cut it. Like maybe he should be benched for a game, because that West Virginia team, that was kind of what I was expecting out there. He would put together of this bunch. And also because he didn't bring any West Virginia players here. That guard he had at West Virginia was so damn good. I think, did he go to the NBA? And I forget his name. It starts with a P, I believe. But yeah, try to keep the faith with Indiana basketball. We got a huge football game coming up on Monday, obviously, but I'm going to try to keep the faith. They play Michigan and they'll probably just get slaughtered in that game. So not a lot to look forward to there. That's on Tuesday. really thought decently about going down to the game today with my daughter, and so happy I did not make that drive down there because a little spitting some snow and some different things this morning. So whatever, I called it off, and I'm happy I did because I would not have been happy at the end of that game at Assembly Hall. Yeah, in this game, I watched this. Yeah, I watched that game, and Iowa played Purdue really, really tough, and they had a few guys that got right to the rim on Purdue, too, and that's what concerned me. I mean, they had guys and what's his name? I can't even think of his name. The white dude on Iowa. He's tough, that guy. He's tough and he's crafty, and Indiana needs a player like that. I hate to say it. Why is it every year this is like what I get to this point? I get to this point in the season, I start looking around, I'm like, well, why can't IU get that guy? Why can't IU get that guy on their team? I mean, Brock Strock. I can't think of his name right now. My brain is just going in all different directions. But Russell, always appreciate you. Darren made a huge mistake on this roster's construction. Yeah. I mean, yeah, he won't be here long because you got to get a guy. You got to get a guy. I know Eric Reeby. He would have been a great get to have on this team. A 7-foot guy. He's lanky. He can shoot. The last thing I want to say, Reed Bailey and Sam Alexis, those two guys are just failing miserably. And maybe everybody told me that they would, but I just thought these guys, like Reed Bailey, really cannot play in the Big Ten, and he is not getting it done, and he should be benched. I don't know what else to say. It is just, yeah, and really, from watching that game, I thought Tate Connerway was going to be able to do the same thing, and but Indiana is just different because they don't have. I don't know. They don't have the continuity, I guess, and they don't have like Connerway had made one play that really made me mad where he just kind of drove baseline, picked up his dribble. And two different times he got a 5-second call, yet it was two different times. But one time he got trapped doing it, and it's just like, man, don't get up in the air. Don't pick up your dribble when you're going towards the baseline either. Make sure you have a outlet or somebody because Iowa was all over him. IU b-ball fans are used to the mediocrity. Yeah. Looks like 2 NCAA trips out of the last 10. Michigan State, 27 in a row. But we're going to see how it goes. I'm going to get off of here and watch the NFL games. Enjoy the rest of your NFL Sunday. Try to forget about that game. That ruined my day. And I was having such a great day. I was out at, swimming at the Y this morning, walking, eating Powers hamburgers. If you know that, if you know, then, having such a great day, come back to watch this game. Just spoiled my afternoon, but we got to just be focused on the football team. Be happy that, hey, I've been thinking all week, Indiana chance to win a national championship in football. I mean, that's just such a unbelievable thing to say. And but Ben McCollum, we got outcoached by Iowa and Ben McCollum and a bunch of Iowa players that we should have been able to beat Iowa at home. That's it, So thank you so much for joining me on this episode of Indiana Sports Connection. Until next time, stay classy out there, Hoosier fans.